AITA for not revealing the surprises in the dingy house my inheritance share was from. Original post my 37F is siblings 29F and 43M. I'll call them Mason and Brittany for the post's sake. An undiagnosed heart condition claimed our father when we were young. Before they passed, his parents assisted a great deal to keep our family above water and had given them an old family farm on a sizable acreage at their marriage. After almost 5 years of severe depression, our mother at last found her feet and did well for our family. She was quite frugal, yet as well. We had decent clothes but no extravagant trips. For years, our mother had disregarded symptoms of poor health, even when we tried to encourage her to visit a doctor. She left a lot behind since she lately passed away from late-stage cancer. My siblings received furnishings, emotional but pricey stuff, and more than $150,000 in cash. I did not get the money. I got the house, the property, some belongings. Worth significantly less than the $150,000 my siblings received, the house and land which had been sold off little by bit over the years due to Mom's worsening health and incapacity to properly look to it, or I had moved in toward her end. And it was only meant to be temporary, as I thought the house would be sold following her death and the money would split 3 ways. To help that procedure run more smoothly, I already had a roommate with a friend and her family in mind. Nearly a year has passed as most of my stuff sits in storage. Being the sole person who worked from home, I could observe the nurses and home health aides to ensure they were performing their duties without stealing and were being friendly. My brother worried about someone walking off with her wedding band since she was so connected to it, but generally it was to ensure they handled my mother with respect and care. We all felt it should be interred with her ashes. I so built up a small area and looked after her. Each of my siblings visited regularly 3 to 6 times a week. Mason had 2 children and Brittany only had 1 they visited as well, but not as frequently near the end as it was difficult for them. My mother therefore had me arrange in big boxes what items belonged to who and place them off to the side in the weeks before her death. Though they loathed me for it, my siblings knew it was what she wanted. They left me to head to my house after reading the will and checking their boxes to make sure my mom didn't overlook anything when I told her to pack. Weeks went by until at last I felt qualified to start cleaning the house. I did mention then the house was dark. It's not worth $150,000, but, given the wild state of the property market, I considered it a little of a lucky accident. Repairing the roof, chimney, water heater, some pipes, doors and windows for heating, and everything inside is so darkly painted or built of wood that just sucks out all the light. People were right away looking over the water heater, chimney, and roof. Since it is only me, my siblings volunteered to lend me the money, but I turned down since I had been saving for some time to buy an apartment or something tiny. To get some of that money back, I could also let local college students stay in rooms. I chose paints for each area, but chose to keep the wood floors unpaced. I started looking for things as I started sorting through everything in the house, specifically what the will had left to me. Money and books, and there are many books. Money taped under beds, money wrapped into the fancy sheets, money hidden in the teapot, and cups passed down through the family, which we had never been let to touch in fear we may break them. I discovered jewelry in several boxes, buried in the attic, under the vents, in sock drawers. Some of it was so flamboyant it had to be costume, but I put it all together, thank heavens I did, and showed it for approval. Though the value of the jewelry is almost half that of my siblings received, even the would-be costume jewelry is valuable. I'm still finding things even now. I discovered antiques, luxury watches, unspoiled clothes and bags still with price tags, belts and shoes remaining in their boxes. All of this seemed to be put away, perhaps buried, and not discussed. Since neither my sister nor I could wear any of the clothes, I returned them to see if I could obtain refunds or started selling them online. Again, everything remained in the house was expressly left to me. Almost entirely covered, I grabbed the cash and utilized it to assist pay for the immediate repairs. Since I am not into that kind of stuff, I glanced through the jewelry and kept what I liked very little, then set aside some for my sister and the daughter of my brother. I sold the rest and saved the proceeds. For my siblings and their families, I also set aside a few of the bags and belts and watches. The clothes are not fitting, but those items are simpler to swap about. Telling them I had found them while I was clearing everything out and thought they would like them, I brought everyone over and handed them the stuff. Everyone delighted to have them, and the children were not very agitated. They inquired about what else I had found, and I described the clothes I was selling off and the jewelry I kept. My brother asked whether I had discovered any money and looked strangely at me. I told him I had, but I tried to minimize it because largely change and stray bills. He wanted to see the money, so I reached for a large water refill container I had begun keeping all the cash in. Having left them all loose, he informed me that was a lot of coins and asked whether I would be using it for the laundromat. Having a washer-dryer combination, I rolled my eyes. I told him there was no need cashing them in until I finished the house. He advised me to inform them so that we could all split it plus the earnings from the clothes sales. He answered so we can split it when I questioned why. When they all had significant cash inheritances, sentimental and costly items, and some other stuff, I asked him why I would split it. I turned over without asking. I literally got the house, the problems, the cleanup, and the lovely items I felt they might enjoy. He advised me to never mind, and I wasn't a greedy jackass about it. Though she said nothing, my sister cast me the side eye. Though it was all toward improving the house, I feel bad for misrepresenting how much I had really found. To be clear, my mother had money set aside for the funeral and cremation. Her bills were paid. So, AITA? Edit. First of all, I wanted to thank everyone for their nice comments and little guidance. Reading so many NTA's remarks made me feel a lot better. Though some of the shut your mouth remarks seemed a bit nasty, I also found great resonance in them. On to the update. When I moved in and set up outside cameras, my house still sounds strange, saying typing this already felt different. I did, however, go and expand the property line within the house in strategic areas and around the garage. I also set up no trespassing signs as I research businesses with appropriate fences. The acreage is modest enough for me to swing the fence. As soon as I read the advice to do so, I did replace the locks. Working from home, I hadn't given that any thought. Mom also kept a spare hidden in a plant, as my sister used to lose stuff all the time, and I made sure to take it and not replace it with the new one. It's lucky I completed all of this, as 2 days after my first post I had to go several quick errands and grocery shopping in town. I reside on the outskirts, and neighbors there are quite far apart either direction to avoid drawing attention to someone stopping. Not expecting any packages, I checked after getting a movement alert on my phone. Looking around and checking the windows, my brother was getting out of his car. He tried his key in the door and became irate as it did not work. He kicked the flower plant over and inspected it. I just said, "That was rude," into the speaker, since the cameras around the house allowed me interact. He jumped and whirled about to see nothing. When I asked him what he wanted, he insisted to know why I installed cameras. Because I'm a single woman living in the woods? Yeah, dumb shit, I said. He moved from foot to foot and departed, stating he will be back so we could chat. While I wasn't home with him, his wife, my sister, and her fiancé messaged the video proof of him trying to get in. With the message I sent, I changed the locks since I have cameras and I'm not sure who Mom provided them like her buddies. Nobody will be receiving the new key since of this attempt to get in when I'm not home. I don't just show up at your house haphazardly while you're not home. After that, he sent me a lot of unpleasant texts meant to make me ashamed of what I did. I advised him that it's a reflection on him. Not me. He shouldn't be engaging in activities he wouldn't want others knowing about. He blocked me and declared I was a bitch. Given that his wife is threatening to bring the children to her mother's, my sister believes I overreached myself in notifying her. She also believes that by showing her fiancé I overreached myself, since now he wants his keys to their house for emergencies. I sense somehow that this is not yet over. Time to bring in a really large dog.